We should be live now. Okay, let's check the sound. Let's see how this is coming through. Checking the sound. Good. All right, looks like it's coming through loud and clear. You're probably going to hear it on your end until I mute. Cool. All right. We'll turn that off. Okay, microphone coming through. Let me also check my sound. Cool. All right. Okay, we're going to get started here in about a few minutes. We are now live on Twitch. And we're still waiting for people to come into the room here. We'll get started in about a few minutes. But in the meantime, we will go ahead and do a little promo on Facebook. To let everybody know that we are here and live. Okay. All right. So I want to put okay. So I'm going to say we are now live. Join us. I'll say join us live for the Blender 3D LightWave discussions. Okay, I'm going to put a direct link here to Twitch. So what I'm also going to do, join us now, join in now. There we go. All right. What I'm also going to do is I'm going to give you guys the link right now for you to share with all of your friends on social media to come and join us. There it is. Okay, so go ahead and share that. And cool. All right, so I'm also going to invite other groups. As there are quite a few Blender groups on the internet, like the Blender add-ons, the Blender art design, the Blender tips and tricks. We've got Blender Orange. I'm assuming that means Orange County. And we've got the Blender student. We got a lot of the Blender people there. So I'm going to put in, let's see, Blender 3D and what I come up with that there. Okay, 3D learning, 3D artists, I think. Yeah, there we go. That's what I'll do with that one. Add that one as well. Okay, let's go ahead and send that off. Okay, so everybody should start jumping on here in just a moment. I'm also going to share this with our personal 3D Blender user group, or Blender 3D user group. Do it with Warp Nacelle as well. Sharing is important. We love to share. All right, so we're going to share it to several groups. There it is, Blender 3D. I believe I mentioned Warp Nacelle already, so that's coming up. So anybody who is at Warp Nacelle, which is a 3D printing group utilizing Blender, they will see it as well. Okay. All right. The word is out there. Okay, let's go. I want to keep my eye on the Twitch broadcast. Okay. There we go. So yeah, if you have anybody you want to share that with, go ahead and share that. Good morning on this lovely Friday. Not Friday, it's Saturday. It's Saturday morning. And share where you're from. Share the weather, what the weather is like in your area. We're going to get started here in just about a few minutes. Kind of a fun little tutorial today. Let's go ahead and share my screen. I'm going to share the screen now, share the entire screen, and we're going to add on the blender. There we go. We've got it. All right. 10:04. We'll do one more minute, and then we'll get started. So last week, I think it was last Saturday, we were working on a Stegosaurus, which we're going to continue to work on that character. And we have a lot of sculpting work to do. And what I want to do is I want to go over, custom creating your brushes in Blender. I think that will be, we went over it a little bit last week. But I didn't go over the entire procedure. So I figured I'm going to kind of go over the entire aspect of properly custom making brushes and saving them. So I'm going to make sure we got everything lined up here. Good. Yep, looks good. Okay, so welcome everybody to the Blender 3D broadcast and LightWave discussions. And let me kind of go back to refresh our memory on where we left off last time. So I'm going to go and open the recent file. And let me go to this one here. I think it was Twitch version. Okay, so I've got my reference image in the background. I'm going to turn on the body. And I have over here, I've got the collections or the folder, the body. I'm going to turn off the reference folder temporarily. Okay, so there is our beginnings of our Stegosaurus. We started doing sculpting last week. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Blender 3D broadcast and LightWave discussions. Welcome. As you can see, we're going to start off with we're going to finish up the Stegosaurus, but not that we're going to actually finish it today, but I want to go over custom making your brushes properly. I went over it a little bit last time, but figuring we're going to properly do it today. There were some things that I did not go over last week that I think will be very, very handy for you in working with Blender 3D. So we got a little Stegosaurus. Now we're still sculpting. Got a lot of work to do. I even found some new images to work with. But I'm thinking I'm going to need some additional brushes to start detailing some of this information in. In fact, I found another reference file that I think I would rather use for a reference for the Stegosaurus. And I've got the image panel. I split this into two. So on the left-hand side is my images. Obviously, on the right-hand side is my 3D work view or work area. And if I come over to image, open image, and I found some additional images. I think that this is the one that I like the best. Let's open it up. There we go. Yeah, I like in this one. Bring that up. All right. So I'm loving all this little detail. I found this on online. I'm loving all this little detail here. Let me kind of get rid of the little annotations. Okay, I'm liking all of this. So I'm going to use this as a reference for texture detail on the Stegosaurus. All right. So Chris says hello. Hey, Chris, how you doing? Great to see you. Let's see who else is also a bunch of people jumping in already. There's a whole bunch of people here, but they're not showing up on the stream chat thing. Doing okay, cool. Um, is there anything you wanted to share today? Or you just want to watch? He says, "How am I? I'm doing good. Really busy. Having a little bit of an issue with my inkjet printer, and that I've got this 24-inch 7800 Epson 7800. So you're actually working. Seeing your note here. Okay, great. 3D stuff, I would assume, right? Yep. Cool. Is it animation or modeling? Oh, no camping. No camping at all, huh? Just compositing. All right. Well, that's fine too. So, okay, cool. So, we're gonna kind of play around with the sculpting tools. We got to do the head of the dinosaur. Um, we basically what this is a modifier that's placed on it. It's a multi-resolution modifier. Hold on a minute. Let me undo what I just did. All right, it is right there. Okay. So I've got a multi-resolution modifier on here. Okay, right there. If we turn that off, this is what we have started off with. Just that simple shape there. I could have gone into a little better detail in modeling this dinosaur, um, like doing the toes and all of that. I could probably should have done that, but I figured I'll just kind of scope that all in there and see how that works. But if we go back and turn on the multi-resolution modifier, give it a hot second. There we go. It brings back all of our detail from our scopes. Kind of really nice. All right, now before I start sculpting around, this is the reference I'm using over here, as I mentioned. And before I had this reference, you can see where I've already started going in that direction. You can see where the skin is starting to overlap from the hind legs, and it connects to the top of his the back, and connect and the flaps of the skin are connecting to the front legs here. So I'm gonna go to the scoped mode here. So tab key, go to scope mode, and just to refresh your memory on what brush I'm using. Yeah, so I'm using, I think it's a custom brush that I created. Shift spacebar will bring up your brushes. And I'm using a custom, this one right here. I'm using the clay strips brush. Okay, that's not a custom brush. That's standard inside a Blender. So I'm using the mistakes from my natural movement, hand movement, to create the details, or use the extra information from the strokes for my details. So I'm kind of simulating a little bit of the muscle coming down here, down the thigh, but making sure that I keep that nice little strip, that little circular strip you see here on the top of the belly here. I might even want to kind of scope the belly out a little bit more. So I'm gonna make this a little larger and just pull it out just a little bit more. Just give it a little volume in here. Um, See the leg looking pretty good. I'm going to kind of pull that on out back here a little bit. All right, so I want to stop here because I'm going to have to create some custom brushes. I did create a couple custom brushes if I remember correctly, but one of them is here, and it's called the Alpha 64. There are others right along here, which I did not create previews for, and these are not standard sculpting brushes. These are VDM brushes, and we're definitely going to talk about those too. So in other words, we can actually sculpt in three-dimensional shapes right into the flesh of the dinosaur. And we're going to talk about that in just a little bit. Well, soon. All right, so I'm going to save this one. I'm going to hit Command-Shift-S. We're going to save this one as number 3 because this is our third time working on this little guy. And save as. Okay, I've got a different file called Brush Creator. There. Okay, so we are looking through the camera. We're looking through the camera, and we're looking at a basic, high resolution ball. On this ball, I've got the multi-resolution. Let's pull this on over. The multi-resolution modifier on it. Okay, so it's going to allow me to scope pretty well. So I've found a site that I really like, and let me kind of bring it up. The site is called, it's right here. I'm going to bring this on over. All right, so this one is called, what is the name of the site? Let me find the name of the site here. Ambient CG. All right, it's Ambient CG. I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to drop that into the chat box for your convenience. So there we go. So it's Ambient CG. So this is free. This is one of the textures that I found, but it's got a lot more textures in here. So I'm in environments, substances. So what these are going to be your basic image maps for brushes. So if I go back, let me kind of go back one and see what I've been working on. I saw all these options here for textures. Ambient CGs over here are the categories. So I was looking for a texture that I thought might be really nice for the dinosaur. And the one I was looking at, let me go back forward, was this one here, kind of like as starting off on the skin. I'm going to download the 4K file to keep it simple. I'm going to click it. It's called Rock 50. So I'm going to click on that one. There we go. And you can see that I've already downloaded it. So I want to show you inside what it looks like. Let me bring up Bridge here. I think that will be really handy for this. That's that bitch. Okay, there we go. So we're in the folder, reference file, Stegosaurus, and we've got our alphas right here. And you can see all my various alphas that I've been playing around with. And what was that? That was called, there it is, Rock 50 right here. Now, Rock 50 comes with several options. So this is kind of PBR textures here. So we've got our ambient occlusion, we've got our actual color, and then we have this one here, the displacement. That's probably more what we're looking for the brush. But I'm thinking we have a little bit of a problem with this, and that it's the white information that we need as a brush. And the dark information doesn't get seen at all. And we need to modify this brush just a little bit so that it's not going to come out looking like a square when we actually stamp it into the dinosaur. So I'm going to have to open up Photoshop for this. Hit the enter key on the keyboard. And I'm going to have to, that's the wrong version of Photoshop. That's the beta version of Photoshop, which I think I'm still under NDA for. So I'm going to go over and open up instead the actual version, the 2026 version of Photoshop that everybody else has. So if you got questions, just type in the chat box. We'll get a little dialogue going. Gotta drink water. It's amazing just how chatting with everybody just dehydrates you. Okay, cool. So here, I'm going to just double click this one. Open it up in Photoshop. I need to modify this a little bit. I'm going to hit Command or Control J. Open that up here. Now I can inverse this. Let's see what it looks like if I inverse it. Command I. Yeah, that's more what I'm looking for. So now the whites is going to be the texture that's going to show up. So what I'm going to do is I'm using a standard brush. I'm going to use another layer right above it, and I'm going to start to brush in at 100%. I'm using I'm using a stylus. It can be a Wacom stylus. It can be a SenseLab stylus. It doesn't matter. I want to get it away from these edges. Make the brush a little bigger. Kind of just get a circular shape going in here. So if you're interested in custom making your own brushes, this is something you want to do because you don't want your edges looking like they're hard cut off brushes. You want the black will not show. All right, where white's going to show up. Now, once I kind of pull this away from the sides, like so, now I can kind of, make some irregular shapes coming in here. So I can, better replicate the look and feel of this piece. Now, once I'm done, I'm going to change the blend mode up here for the brush. I'm going to change the blend mode to not darken, but to overlay and painting with black. What that will do is when I'm painting with black, it'll only touch the black, it won't touch the white. So it allows me to kind of keep the shapes of my patterns along the edge. So it's going to affect the darker pixels first and more drastically before it even touches the highlights. Okay, that looks good. It's gonna just pull it away from the sides. Get it to touch some of these dark areas in here, richen those up. See, it's not touching the highlights, just the dark areas. I think that can work. All right, so once this is done, I'm going to just merge everything together. Shortcut on the keyboard in Photoshop, Controller Command, Alt or Option, Shift, all three modifiers, and then E for Edward. It places it in its own layer right above everything else here. If I right click on the right side of that layer, let's export it as a PNG. Okay. And we need to bring it right back to our folder that we're working in, which is in my lessons folder. And then my zero presentations right there. Then we're going to go down and get Stegosaurus right there and go find the alphas. And what was this called? I've already forgotten what this was called. This was the Rock 50, I think it was. Yeah, Rock 50, right there in front of me. Um, we'll say Rock 50 Alpha. Rock 50 Alpha. Done. Okay. So now when I go back to Bridge, we should see it in here. Let's go up. There it is, right there. Okay, so that's our new alpha. And you can, preview some of the other alphas that I've got. This is going to be great for some of the plates on the dinosaur's body. All right, that's the one we modified to the new brush. So here's some others here. Now notice how they're soft. That is what you want. You want a little bit of a soft edge. And I think I achieved that. Let me go. I'm going to go double check mine. This still a little soft, a little harsher than the other. But the idea is you want to keep your technique where you have some, I should say, more a Gaussian blur effect between all around the edges of your subject. So let me go back and take a look at mine that I created up here, right there. And that looks pretty good. There's something else I could do. Let's open that up in Photoshop again. So just hit the enter key, open it up, and let's give this a Gaussian blur. So filter, blur, and what that's doing is that Gaussian blur is going to be adding more midtones in there. There we go, like that. A little bit of a softness. And we're going to save this one as, let's go over here and say export PNG again. It goes back and we'll call it Rock 50 Alpha number 2. All right, that helps. So let's go back. I'm going to take a look at Bridge again and see what other alphas I've got in here that might help us with the dinosaur. In fact, we're going to go back over to Ambient CG and see what else it may have that I think that can help us out here. So let's go to, let's see where I put it, right there. That's it there. And let's go to another one. So let's go back. And let's scroll down and let's explore a little bit. Let's see what any of these could possibly work for skin. This one looks really interesting here. Yeah, that might be a good one for skin with a dinosaur. Again, I'm gonna go with the 4K here. Open it up. I'm gonna put it right back into the alphas as a zip file. It's done. I'm gonna open it, and that was called Rock 58, right? So Rock number 58. There it is. Open it up. All right. I don't think while I'm inside the zip file, Windows is going to allow me to preview these, which it doesn't. So we'll just go to the list view, and then we'll just grab them. So I'm going to select them all, grab that. I have to select all these first here. Let's go grab all these, and then that, copy, Control C, go into the main folder here, and Control V. There they are. Okay. So um, Rock 58, there's the texture right there. Let's go back to bridge real quick. All right, so on Rock 58 should be enough. There it is right there. Okay, let's open this up in Photoshop real quick. So this is right. I got the highlights where I want them to be. I just like to get them away from the sides, similar to before. So let's hit it, open it up right there, and let's use the same brush. I'll duplicate it so if I screw up, you know what happens. So I'm gonna go to the same brush using black, and it's only gonna affect, and I'm doing it directly on it this time instead of doing it as a separate layer. I just think it'll be faster. In overlay mode, see it's affecting these darker areas much faster than the highlights, going around the sides. A little more control here. Now, if I want the whites to come back, then I can hit the X key to go to white, and it'll bring the whites and not touch the blacks. Okay, and hit the X again, and go back to the side. Yeah, there we go. Push it in here, give it some character. Push these in like so. Same thing right around here, like this. Now I'm gonna turn off overlay and go to normal, so I absolutely can paint black everywhere, and just tone it on down. Get rid of that. So you see what I'm doing? Will it work effectively? Don't know. You got to go and experiment. Get rid of that edge right over there. Just get rid of it all. Tone down that edge. Okay, I got to tone down this edge. Bring this down here. There we go. And get rid of it. No, just make all the areas on those edges black. So they're not going to be, it's not going to create this hard little raised surface. I'm going to just get rid of this here. Okay, we're getting there, almost there. Adjust my brush size a little bit so I can come in a little bit like this. Start making some irregular shapes. All right, that'll work. We'll leave that. Now I can go to that top layer, right click. What was it called again? This is number Rock 58, right? So right click, export PNG, and Rock 50, and put an 8 and place it at 0. Okay. I don't have to call it alpha. I'll be able to see. Oh, you know what? I guess I don't have to call it alpha because I forgot there was a Rock 58 already in there. So Rock 58 and alpha. Let me kind of go back. Alpha.png. There we go. That works. Okay. All right. So I'm thinking from here, I'm going to be done playing around with making brushes. So let's actually go in and show you the workflow for creating the brushes. In case I want to use this again, let me hit Command Shift S. We're going to save this as a TIFF file. And actually, Blender recognizes TIFF files. So we might be able to use this as is with layers anyway. So I'm going to go ahead and just save that. And there we go. All right. So we got another little brush there. Kind of cool. Not quite sure how that's going to look as an end result. But it's that experimentation is like so critical. Let me get this little brush here. There we go. Um, it's so critical. So what I did was last week I went to ZBrush and I exported out their alphas and brought it into Blender and found that we got the same results as what we saw inside of ZBrush. And the current version of Blender is just gotten so much faster. Um, I was surprised at how quick and efficient it handled large amounts of geometry in sculpting. So it's getting better and better and better with every single update in terms of its speed. In my opinion, getting a little bit closer to the speed that you have in ZBrush. One of the biggest things in ZBrush has over Blender is that it has a lot of different brushes with a lot of different alphas on it to do certain effects. Well, as I showed you last week, I'm going to show you today. You can recreate that inside of Blender. All those brushes you have in ZBrush, you can now do in Blender. I think you always could do it in Blender. So we're going to go ahead and close out Photoshop. I can serve on memory. I already saved it. I'm going to just close all this out. Even this could be an interesting pattern right there. See that? That might be an interesting pattern for veins and stuff and textures. All right, I said I was closing out Photoshop. This one's intrigued me. So let me do one more. Just do one more. Bring it into Photoshop. I want to grab that one. There we go again. Bring up that. All right, I'm not gonna worry about it. So Command J. All right, Command and Control J. There we go. Let's inverse this one. Command I. Come on, Command I. All right, so let's see what's going on here. It just may be, I'm in grayscale. I want to be in RGB. So for some reason that one was go don't flatten. There we go. Now Control I. There we go. That's what I want. There's my brush. This will make a great brush, just as is. In fact, let's give it a curves a little bit. Let's move it over to the side. Let's take a look at this. Increase up the highlights, decrease down. Keep these blacks kind of right where we want them. Better yet, maybe I want to clip it. Let's just clip it. Let me just do this. Just clip the highlights. Yeah. And let's clip the shadows. Got it. All right, now from here, I'm going to duplicate this again, Command J, and then give it a Gaussian blur. So that's getting close. So we can see the effects here, because that's pretty harsh. So filter blur, Gaussian blur, and let's bring it up. Oh, you know what's happening? I had a selection there I didn't realize. Control D. There we go. Now do it again. Filter, blur, gouge. There we go. I bring it up a little more. Yeah, that'll work. We'll use that. All right, so let's save this out. Export PNG. Go into our alphas folder. And what I want to call this one? This one is called Rock. That's saying Rock 58. All right, so that's just another version. So I'm going to call this Lightning. Or, yeah, just because it looks like lightning, I'm going to call it Lightning. Lightning Alpha. So the white is going to show up as the brush. The darks are the alphas. Nothing will be happening. All right, done. Let me go just double check. Go check my, go to bridge. We are now in bridge. Lightning alpha. Let's go in alphabetical order here. Oh, alpha, alpha. There it is, right there. Lightning alpha. We got it. Okay, we're done. We're done playing with creating alphas. Nope. There we go. Done. All right. So here's the rules with Blender. We're going to be setting up. Well, yes. For let me go. We're going to be setting up a asset browser for your brushes. Um, the way asset browser works is you got to set up a central folder that has a blend file in that folder, that within that blend file are all of your assets. And those assets need to be marked an asset. But the way we do that is in your edit menu preferences, you're going to go over to file path at the very bottom. And under asset libraries at the very bottom here, assets library, I designate it to a place on my hard drive. It's inside my Blender projects zero assets library folder. So if I go into Windows Explorer, okay, and I'm going to go over to not the lessons folder, but over to the, I think it's under the 3D projects. There we go. Blender projects, zero assets library right there. That's my library folder. Inside it are additional folders which I can use as content in my library. So anything inside this folder, Blender's going to read as a potential asset for your library. Inside this library, I have what's called custom brushes right there. One of the folders is called custom brushes. As you can see, I got a bunch of other folders like kit bash library, metal jug. These are all individual assets I've found and installed or placed inside of this folder. So if I go over to my custom brush library, let's see if I got it here, the brushes, right? It's in a blend file. So that's all. So once that is set up, I'm going to right here. Okay, so we got everything set up under the assets library. I'm going to bring in another. I'm going to bring in that custom brushes folder into here. So I'm going to hit the plus button, and I'm going to just navigate over to that folder. So let me go 3D projects right there. Okay. Zero projects, zero assets library, custom brushes right there. I'm inside the, actually I want to be inside the custom brushes and then add the asset library, and there it is. Okay, so that has been added. At this point, just get out of it. Okay. So what we're going to do now is we're going to make some brushes. So we need to get out of here and go into scoped mode. So what this is here, let me kind of just go back to object mode. This is basically, I imported in Shift A, mesh, and then I went to rounded cube is what I used. That's a sphere made up of quads. All right. I'm going to set up this There we go. We'll do it that way. So a sphere made up of quads. So if I go inside this thing, tab key edit mode, see what we've got is a sphere made up of quads. So I find that to be ideal for sculpting. All right, let's go create our brushes. All right, we're gonna go to tab key and go to scope mode. And my brush is huge, so I'm gonna bring it down. You can see I've got another brush with an alpha. So that was an alpha I created from one of the custom brushes. So if I paint that was a custom brush that I used. I'm gonna undo that. I'm gonna come over here to my modifier. I got 2. Yeah, that'll be just fine. In fact, I'm gonna subdivide it again in multi-resolution. I'm gonna hit it one more time. There we go. So I can get a finer resolution. That's much better. I like that much better. Okay, so shift spacebar. You can see right here, this is the brush I'm using, the Alpha 64. That's a custom brush. Now, this isn't going to happen automatically when you make a custom brush. You have to actually make the preview yourself, which is kind of a pain in the rear, but I'll show you how to do it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this alpha brush, and you can grab any brush. I mean, you can grab your standard sculpting brush, like this one here. I think this is that's my standard sculpting brush that you get automatically with Blender. So I'm going to undo that. Go back, and what we're going to do is we're going to duplicate that brush. I'm going to right click on it, duplicate that asset. And immediately it's going to ask you, what do you want to name it? And what library are you going to use to place this in? All right. So let's see, what alpha am I going to use? I'm going to come over here to bridge. Let's use the Rock 50 Alpha 2. Let's use that one right there. Let's see how that looks. All right, so we'll call this one Rock 50 Alpha number 2, so we don't get confused. And then the library right here, custom brushes, there. And save. Okay, there it is. Now look at, if I start to paint with it, it's still the same brush, right? It's still the same brush. So I'm going to undo that. Okay, the problem is, now we're going to come right over here to our hit the N key on numerics on your keyboard, go to the tool, and you can see there's no alpha assigned to it. So we need to create the alpha to assign to it and save it. All right, so we'll come down here to the texture option, little red and gray checkered flag. Grab that, click new, and we're going to add in a new texture, right? So go to here to open, and we're going to go to the alphas. We're going to go get that alpha. I think it wasn't that one. It was this one down here, Alpha 2. That one there. Click open, and there's the alpha. And there it is right there in your brush now. Okay, so if I make the brush bigger, see, there it is. Oh yeah, that's going to make great dinosaur skin. I was right about this. Okay, now that'll start. Now I'm at 0.5 on the strength. Let me undo that here. I'm going to go up to 100 because I'm using the pressure sensitivity of my brush. Okay. Yeah, that's going to make a nice dinosaur skin. All right, so now check this out. Um, Shift spacebar, you'll notice that the preview is not the preview that I want. It's using the old preview. We got to change that. And we're going to change that. Come up here, go to my brush option. Let's see, my brush is here. That's the texture. I want to go back to my brush, which is right there. Okay, so we come up here to the tools on the right side. Now, the left-hand side is kind of showing the same thing, but there's your texture. It's showing you your texture, but this is going to be your preview for your brush. You get your preview by taking a picture of it with your camera. So you want a 512 by 512 preview here. On the right-hand side, on the left-hand side, I meant to say, I set up a camera. So I'm going to come right over here to this little output, which is looks like an inkjet printer. Click it, and I've got a 512 by 512. I set that up already, so that when I do a render of this thing, it's going to render correctly. It's going to render correctly in the format that I need for the preview. So if I hit actually I got it set up here. If I hit the F12 key on my keyboard, okay, so that's what I'm getting. Because I've got an HDRI image in there kind of lighting the scene. We'll use this. That's okay. We'll definitely use this. So what I'll do is I'll take the camera and I'll just zoom in a little closer like this. Now when I hit the F12, all right, it's rendering. It's rendering a lot. All right, that's because, okay, that'll work for now. I'm going to go to my image menu, save as. I'm going to go put it right back into the alphas. And this one was called the 58, right? So the rock, we'll say rock 58. Was it 58? No, it wasn't. It was for 50. Okay, so rock 50. So rock 50 preview. So rock 50 preview is there. Okay, now all you got to do is this. Let me get this out of the way. We're going to go back over here to the options. Here's your preview. Drop down list just to the right of your preview. And what you're going to do is you're going to edit the preview image. Select it. Go back to your alphas. And we're going to look for the Rock 50. There it is, Rock 50 preview. Replace it with that. Load it. It's thinking. It's thinking. There it is. And there it is right there. Okay. So now when I go to Shift Spacebar, right? And there it is. See? Rock 50. It duplicated it. Not quite sure why. I have to research that one out. So now when I go back, see, I can see I've got that brush. So that's how you able to do custom brushes. Now you got to make sure that when you're done, and I'm not going to do it just yet because I want to do a couple more brushes, and then we're going to go back and go into sculpting our dinosaur. So I'm going to hit undo and just undo a lot of this so I can start a new brush. Okay. I want to get that thing with the lightning pattern because that looked interesting. So let's go back. Let's go here. And I'm wondering, I'm going to go back to this original one here. Shift spacebar here. Right click. We got to duplicate the asset. I'm going to call this one the lightning brush. It goes inside the custom brushes folder. Save it. Done. All right, let's go get the alpha for this. So go grab this here. New. Under the image, go to open. Alphas. Lightning alpha. I think that's it there, right? And there it is. Okay. If we come over here to the left, hit the N key, it's there. We come over to the right, we need to write. Now, we could probably use this as a preview as well. Let's see what it looks like if we start painting on here. See, there it is. Oh yeah, nice veins. So we'll have to just kind of do like, you can do other techniques too, right? Let me undo all that. Down here under the brush, for your stroke, I got the space. We can say drag dot. So if I click and hold and drag it, get this. And that's all you want to photograph right there. That's probably the best thing to do for making these photographs. Zoom in close like this. Zoom in close. Get the N key out of the way. All right, I'm gonna do an F12. There it is. All right, I'm gonna save that one. Go to image, save as lightning. And save it. Done. All right, now we're gonna come over here. That looks good. Come up to here, change this, edit preview image, and there it is. Grab it, load it, and there it is. All right, so if I go to shift spacebar, and there they are, right there. So now you can see my custom brushes right over here. Kind of fun, huh? So, all right, let's go work. I think I got enough. Let me take a look at my. So you notice here is showing 2 of each. Not quite sure why. I'll discover that a little bit later. All right, let's back out of here. Hit my escape key. And let me just go take a look at one last thing. See if there's any other brushes that I might want to explore. I think I've done all these earlier. Well, we've got this one here we haven't tried. The Rock 50, I don't think we've done. Or was it a Rock 58? Yeah, it was a Rock 58. We haven't done yet, I don't believe. So let me go check that out real quick. I'm gonna come over here to my custom. This is Rock 50, right? So we haven't tried Rock 58. Let's just do one more. I think that Rock 58 is going to be handy. So we'll go over here to this little guy. Right click. Duplicate that asset. Rock 58. And inside of custom brushes, save it. Done. Okay, there's Rock 58. Let's go get the alpha for it. Okay, so we got the tool here. And the texture, let's go get the texture right over here. Add a new one in. Open. Alpha. Here it is, Rock 58. Alpha. Grab it. There it is. It's already there. Okay, let's kind of pull this around to the other side. Make a little bit of a bigger brush. Like that. Pull it. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? I want 100% because that's a new brush I created. And I don't want this. I want to take this and I want to drag dot. There we go. Okay, so click and drag. There we go, like that. That looks pretty good. Okay, that'll work. We will F12. It's kind of bright, isn't it? That's no big deal. We'll just leave it the way it is. So I'm going to go ahead and file, save as. 58. Rock 58. Alpha. Save the image with another name. Okay, so alpha, we'll say alpha B. Got it. All right. Now we're going to come up here, replace it. And I want the metadata. I want to replace the preview image. There we go. And there it is. Select it. Load preview, done. Okay. So shift spacebar, I get over here, and it's over here. Right there. So if I go to, let me get out of here and go to scene view, N key. It could be kind of nice of it. Bring down the strength to like 0.3. Let's see what we get. There we go. See, that's softer. And I can just drag and click and drag this where I want on the model. That might be a nice little starting point for the textures. And let's see how this flows if I come over here. Let's pull this down. Instead of a drag dot, let's do some dots too. I think I like the drag dot better. Undo it. All right, and let's do, instead of dots, let's try airbrush. Yeah, airbrush works better too. Okay. All right, we're making great progress. Let's undo all that. I've got this down to 0.3. Let's bring it up to 1.0. And we size my brush down. We can see the alpha in there. Okay, so we got to be real careful with this brush. I would say 50% would probably be more than satisfactory. Undo that and test it again. Make it a little bigger. Yeah, that's better. Okay, that feels pretty good. Okay, that's it. That's what I want to play with. Um, Now, I want to save these brushes. So what I need to do is this. I'm going to tab key, go to object mode. I need to get rid of everything in here. So select this one and delete. Set this up the way I want to see it. And I want to I want to look at one last little thing up here. Okay, there we go. Action lights and cameras. Just turn that off temporarily. There we go. Now, file menu, defaults, save default startup file. So that every time you open up Blender, all those new brushes you just created is there. They'll always be there. Now, it looks like it's about time for that the break. So here I'm going to put what I usually also do is anybody who wants to share today, I'm going to anybody who wants to share, I'm going to copy the StreamYard address link. If you want to share live, come here. All right. So if you want to share anything live, come on in, join us. And great. Ace is here as usual. Yeah, it's not showing everybody here, but we got a bunch of people here watching. So welcome to the Blender 3D and LightWave broadcast. We're going to do a 15-minute break. And I'm going to bring this on over here. We're going to get our 15-minute timer. And we're going to do a little bit of a break. Snack break, bathroom break, all that stuff. All right, cool. There we go. So I'll mute my mic temporarily. And we'll be back. It is almost that time. Okay. All right. Let's stop that. And let's go back to our good old friend Blender. Okay, so here we go. We got just to test out our theory that we have everything saved. So I'm going to close out Blender. Okay, I'm going to say don't save, and I'm going to reopen it again. Bring in our mesh and bring a rounded circle, a rounded cube, basically. Um, and then go to our scope mode. You can see my brush has been saved. You can see it right over here, the right hand side. And all of my, let me kind of go back here, bring this all the way back to bring back all my brushes. There we go. You can see all of my other additional brushes right over here have all been saved. So now that every time I open up, close Blender and open Blender and want to go to scope mode, all of my custom brushes are there. So that's how you save your custom brushes. Now we can go use them. Now we can go open up the Stegosaurus and start doing some detailing on them. Let's go do that now. File menu, open recent, and let's go to Stegosaurus Twitch 3. Don't save this. All right, there she is. All ready to go. Okay, let's start working on the head a little bit. There's always several different styles of heads that I see illustrated all the time on this dinosaur. So we are going to just do the best we can with this one. Okay, so I'm going to kind of pull this on up. Now I'm going to make my brush a little bit bigger. SenseLab, it's not all. It doesn't always switch over to my program, which is this one here. There we go. And there we go. Now it's behaving properly. Resizing my brush as I want. Bring it to the angle here. Holding Control key will push things downward. I want to make sure I have the right brush here. I'm going to play with this. Yeah, I do. That's the brush I want, the clay strips. Okay, Control key and just kind of start pushing it down like this. All right. All right, kind of push that down. Looking at the head, make this a little bit larger. Control key, kind of push that on down there, like so. Get the snout in here. Okay, so adding some detail. I'm just pushing in, holding down the Control key. All right, but kind of like bring this around. Control key, push on in. Let's cut off some of these harsh edges. All right, so the brush isn't responding because I'm on my graphics card is being challenged with StreamYard. There we go. There we go. Let's bring that throat section up a little bit. And I'm going to bring down this top section here. See what I can do. Yeah, that's going to need some work in there, so I'll deal with that later. Let's see, this is going to be kind of the jaw area. Especially down in here. I want to pull out the eyebrow a little bit. Coming from behind. Okay, this is going to either pull outward more. All right, my sculpting brush is at 0.5. I'm going to take it up a little higher. I have a tendency to bring it down a little bit lower, even though I'm using my stylus. I'm going to bring this up and down a little more. All this is going to change, of course. I can push this in, so Control key. I'm going to push the eyeball in a little bit. Not the eyeball, but the eye socket. Okay, so I'm going to see what I can do about this centerpiece here. I'm going to go and hit the Control key. And it's locked in there. I can hit the Shift key, start relaxing some of these areas in here. There we go. All right, so I'm going to just push that in just a little more up in here. I think I'm going to do is just push that on in like so. It's going to kind of be the mouth area, so we'll detail that a little bit later, but I'm going to push it in as much as possible. I'm going to go up here, go to 1.0 for the strength, and let's push this back. There we go. All right, that's good enough. So I'm going to save that one, Control S. Got a little bit of problem in there, so we'll just bring that on back, up and out. And Control key. Bring this back out. All right, I want to take this end here. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my stretching tool. So space bar, shift space bar. Push this all the way back to get them all. And we're going to get these brushes here. I'm going to try the elastic grab. Start pulling. And this may be handy for some of these areas up here as well. Kind of pull it up and out. Give it a little more of a muscular shape up in here. The neck needs to be a little bit larger. So I'm going to go back to the previous brush, which is our clay. Let's see. There we go. Is that the one I want? Let's see. Yep, that's the one I want. There we go. I'm going to pull this up. Yeah. The brush a little smaller. And about there. So I'm allowing that texture to be there intentionally. Now I can do as well as I can smooth this out. So shift key. Now I'm fighting the graphic card resource. I'm going to pull this back this way a little bit. And that because of the StreamYard taking up some of the video card resources, smoothing it out a little bit. Yeah. It the brush freezes up on me a little bit. So it frustrates me a little bit in that I don't have a smooth, instantaneous reaction or responsiveness, but I know it's because of StreamYard. Go here. Okay, now we need to bring up more. Need to add a little more volume up in here. That's a little bit fast. So I'm gonna bring down this to probably like 0.6. There we go. That's a little better. Let's bring this down smaller. So I can just focus on these areas in here. Because we got to build up, depending on where the plates are going to be, we're going to build up flesh around the base of the plates. Okay. All right. So let's start doing some medium detail work. We've got these flaps or this folded flesh around the neck going down vertically. Maybe I'll start there. In fact, before we do so, I need to build up a little more muscle right around here. Looking at and I'm just using the clay buildup brush. A lot of times, a lot of your sculpting is going to be done with just one or two brushes, maybe three. You're not going to be using a myriad of brushes to do your projects. You're going to learn that your skills are going to grow so that you don't have to rely on 1,000 brushes to create something. Okay, I'm going to take a look at my front legs. Yeah, I suppose I can use a little more build up in here in the front. Let's make the brush get the size the way I want it. All right, I'm going to pull this out a little bit. That's a little bit too wide. There we go. All right, so this is going to be circular shapes coming down this way. There we go. Build up here. This is, because even though the leg's going to bend backwards, you still have a little bit of muscular shape coming straight down with a stockier shape coming from above. Okay, that's looking a lot better. Just pull this out in here. All right, I'm going to just keep working here. Let's go do the toes. I think I can use this brush. See, I think there's 4. There's 1. I think I've already started bringing some of them out. Let's just get a little indentation going here. Hate it when I go that far. Okay. We're going to go back to our elastic. I think it was the elastic one's what we used. That one there. Okay, I need to discover like 4 toes. 1, 2, 3, 4. Something like this. There's that one. It's a little smaller here. Pull it on out. It's too small. Undo that one. Get a little bigger brush and just pull that on out. Yeah, that's good. All right. Let's see. I thought there was almost like a thumb like coming from the rear here. I got to get another view. So let's go over to. Let's see. Let's go over to bridge. Let's go back up. Reference images. Okay. Let's see if I found something for their feet. And let's see what this looks like here. One, 2, 3, 4, 5 on this one. Or is that the back toe? 1, 2, 3, and 4 on the other side. Okay. This one, the rear foot's got 1, 2, 3. Let's look at some other references. Let's see if I even got anything here. So I know they know how many toes they have. It's looking like to me 4 toes in the front and then one supportive one to the rear. Let's go see this one here. Let's see this, get a better view. Nope, feet completely in the ground. Can't see anything. This one, this looks like 4 in the front again, and one stub in the, like one in the back, right back here. So 4 in the front and one right back here. Okay, that gives me a good idea. Let me see if anything's in here. Nope, the toes are being hidden. All right, I'm gonna trust that there's 4 in the front and then one to the rear outside. Here's the skeletal structure. Let's go take a look at that. That'll be important. Oh, I see. So this one is animation, huh? Okay. All right. I'm going to just trust that. All right. 4 in the front, and it looks like one on the, let's see, this is the outside here. 4 in the front and one right here on the outside. Coming to the back here. So basically, pull that on out. Okay, so let's go back to our good old brush, the clay buildup right there. Come on. Pull this on out. Thinking about the bone structure of the toe. I need to go back to Synth Lab. Let's select that for the brush. There we go. For some reason it wasn't connecting. So we're thinking about the bone coming straight down to here to the toe. Same thing here, straight down. It's going to pull out here. And then one more. This bone's coming straight down to that toe. There we go. Let's see what we can do with this here. Straight down. Start bringing this up a little higher to the toe. This comes down. All right. Get rid of that banner. I just noticed it there. And we got one back here. I'm just going to use the sculpting tool just to kind of pull that on out. Just going to kind of pull that on out, and let's go straight down to the toe. a little sloppy, but that's okay. It's amazing how much these streaming software rely on your graphics card, because when I work alone, you can feel the smoothness of it all. And when you're working presenting to audiences online, that smoothness goes away. It becomes glitchy and sometimes unreliable. So I know the industry is working on all this. I'm just gonna just start to, and maybe getting to the point where I'm gonna have to freeze this eventually. I'm gonna come into here in between. I've got my pen set up for the top button to resize my brush, and it's not working. Not quite sure why. I'm having to go back and forth between. I shouldn't have to do this, to click on the blender here, and again now when I click on my top button, it resizes perfectly after I do that. So I think this is just a graphics card, a fighting resource issue between it and StreamYard. It's annoying as hell. Okay, so control key, I'm going to push down a little bit in between the toes. Control key, push down a little bit in between here. No modifier to pull up on the toes. This is going to be the bones for the toes pulling up. And control key, pushing down in between the toes in here. All right, we'll come back to this. We'll come back to that. We'll finish that up and pull this out a little bit. Okay. I want to fatten this up a little bit more right in here. Pull this one out a little bit. Yeah. Give that some thickness. Let's pull this on back. Let's look at the belly. I think I'm going to go and get one of my elastic tools. Elastic right here. I'm thinking about pushing this underbelly, giving it a sense. There we go. Shaping it out a little bit. If I get done with this in time, or maybe I'm thinking about showing this during Comic-Con. All right, this is okay. We can go with this. Let me take a look at the hind legs. Look at that there. I'm gonna hit Control S, save it. Hind legs need to be trunkier. Not trunky enough. I'm going to go use my clay buildup brush right there. I'm going to trunk it out a little bit. And this is going to come around like so. Okay, make it look like he has hips back here. All right, the legs are going to be a little bit trunkier. Let's get the overall, shape, sculpted shape. Okay, we got this. It's going to be, I'm going to make this a little smaller. It's going to be where the knee is going to be. It's where the folded flesh, right in here. Also, let's do a reminder up here for the elbow. Come on. Elbow's going to get that little folded flesh right in here. All right, well, a reminder right there. All right, I think I want to make that just the feet. This has got to come out. Just gonna pull it out a little bit more. I'm gonna go over to that elastic tool. Let's take a look at this from the top. I want to go back over here to clay buildup. Right about there. Bring it on down. Either too large. Let's make this a little large. There we go. All right, I'm gonna bring this little muscle down in here. Oops, I'm kind of like getting off base here. Control key. I'm going to start just pushing this in. Go. Okay, all right. So now let's go ahead and let's add a little bit of that ripply skin. Let's go to the neck. And my instinct is to possibly go over here to use a standard brush. Let me bring this back. There's a standard draw brush there. I can probably stick with the clay builder brush. Make it smaller. I'm gonna go, let's see, I'm gonna take the strength to 100. I'm gonna bring it all the way around. Make it a little smaller right there. A little bit bigger. Okay. And just relax. And bring it all the way around. So you just gotta relax. Sometimes just let go of trying to control things. Just let it happen. Um, I've got a little bit of a visual on this, so I'm gonna hit my control space bar so I can just fill the screen with this side only. All right, it's going to kind of just simulate how this might look. And I'm trying to do folded flesh. I'm gonna put more in here, like so. If I want a little more of an indentation in between, I can always go in between them, hold down the control key, and push down. Okay, I'm gonna go around the head now. I'm gonna come up to here and just make it real subtle and light. Now there may be some of folded flesh that's even thinner. So I'm gonna take my brush, resize it smaller like this. And let's go like that. Yeah, that helps. Coming up around, I'm gonna kind of just keep working this here. And I'm gonna take this, come up around like this, down around the head. Around like so. All right. Okay, control space bar, bring this back. I want to take a look at that's going to go back to here. So I'm going to just kind of memorize. Let's go ahead and just do the rest of this very quickly. I want to make this just a little bit larger. That's good enough. And I'm going to bring this back against the arm. Bring it across. I don't want to spend a lot of time up there, so I want to do the whole body. See, I want that to reflect the whole body coming across. If you see my brush freezing up, that's because my system's fighting with StreamYard for graphic card resources. When you're working on your own, you're not going to have this problem because you won't be sharing your screen. Unless if you decide to. That's going to bring this around. There we go. Yeah. Okay. Now, we got to reflect how flesh is folding up around the arms. I came up a little bit too far with this area here. I want to bring this back. So I think what I'll do is I'm just going to make the breast a little larger. Shift key to relax and just relax all that out right in there. Keep some of the wrinkles there. Don't get rid of it completely, but make sure they're not going to be dominating the area that I want to affect here around the arms. So we take a look at that. Okay. All right, let's go get the rest of the body. So I'm going to hit the control space bar to bring back my second, my other window here. If you look at the arms, it's all moving from underneath the arms all the way around. All right, move from underneath the arms. Let's make this about. Let's see this here. Yeah, I'm taking about here. That works. All right, let's see. Let's go here. Let's start kind of moving around this way. Up over the arms is coming around underneath the arms. Armpit, I should say. Bring this around and bring that around. And it's going to just try to make a little more wrinkles in there. There's more than one size of wrinkles, so we're going to make it a little bit smaller. I'm not working on my Cintiq, I'm working on the pad itself. Let's see what I've got there. Okay. All right, looking at the belly. That's going to be a lot more. I'm going to probably use that lightning effect on the belly. Okay, so I'm seeing more of the folds in the legs. I'm going to kind of bring this around. And then overlapping these textures is what's going to make the whole piece. There's one texture after another, constantly overlapping. I'm seeing more of the folds in the skin in these areas where the joints meet. All right, this is coming around this way. We're going to go underneath the pits. I'm struggling to get these curved strokes because the system's freezing up on me. But I'll have to correct some of this on my own. And I think that's probably about as much as I want to do. We can always come back and add this later because we still have to scope out, kind of get the muscle here. I get about so large, control key. I'm gonna push this in so you can kind of outline the muscle. Shift key, smooth this out a little bit. Same thing in here. Control. Shift, smooth all this out. Okay, so I'm going to go back to my clay brush, and obviously I need a little more volume right in there, yeah. Yeah, that's better. Make this a little smaller so I can just focus on that front section. Large brush, and let's pull this on out here on top of that other texture. And it kind of blends the two. Fun. Okay, we're making progress. Now I'm going to start probably thinking about placing the stacks a little more accurately. So let's do that next. Let me come over and go to Object View. And while we're doing that, I'm gonna get some water. Of course, no one's seen a Stegosaurus before live, so we're just gonna. All right, I'm gonna go to the stacks. And we're gonna have to place these appropriately. Matter of fact, let's go to our reference back here. Go to X-ray mode. All right, so these that I have selected is going to come toward us. Okay, so I'm going to come over. And let's just grab these and pull them over like so. And then we're going to rotate them a little bit. So front view. Go to our rotation command and rotate it so it gets right on this neck area. Pull it out probably right about there. Now we're going to know kind of how to pull the flesh up. We're going to have to start pretty soon freezing a lot of the modifiers, because the left side, because this is not symmetrical. Right now, everything's symmetrical, but it's not going to be symmetrical. So I'm going to kind of sit back and take a look at it. Let's go to the other one. Do the same thing. Go to the front view. Push on over, probably right about there. Let's go ahead and rotate it to there. Push it over a little bit. Maybe rotate it a little bit more. Cool. Okay. Let's take a look at it real quick. It's not going to be lined up accurately. I got to go in there to make sure everything's lined up on the neck accurately. In fact, let's turn off this reference. I'm thinking rotate them out just a little bit more. Take a look at them. I'm going to go grab those there. And let's rotate them just, oops, wrong thing to rotate. It's thinking. Okay, and let's go grab this guy here. Just a teensy bit more rotation. Go to the move tool. I'm just going to move it on over like so. Just see what it looks like. Yeah, that's better. I like that much better. Go ahead and grab this one. On the opposite side, go to the front view. Rotate it. Yeah, I'm liking that. Okay, so we got to get the plates right, because the tail's not correct, and the neck is probably not all that correct. Let me take a look at it. Well, the neck did a much better job than the tail. All right, let's go to the tail. And I'm going to go ahead and control space bar, go into here. Let's maximize it. All right. So while we're in this set of plaques or stacks, actually, we can go to both. Why don't we hit the shift key and select both? Now, tab key edit. That way we can edit both at the same time. So what I'll do is I'll let my mouse hover here. L key to select that. And we will, oh, I see what's going on. Oh, it's got the modifier on there. So let's go ahead and undo this real quick. Undo. And let's go to object mode. So let's take off this mirror modifier off these. I can actually apply them. Let's go ahead and apply them. So select it, and we're going to go back to this view, because the modifier, because what we did was we mirrored both sides of each of the stacks, right? Let's see what modifiers we have here. We've got the subdivision surface as 1. We've got the mirror as 2nd. And let's see if we can apply the mirror and hit apply. Done. That leaves the subdivision surface. Okay. Go to this one here. To the right side, hit the apply mirror here. Yeah, there we go. That works. Okay. And I think what we'll do is we're going to turn off the subdivision surface. Both of them temporarily. All right, looking good. Control S. Let's go reposition these plates. Shift select. Tab key edit mode. Now I can do them both at the same time. So L key on this one here. Position it. Let's go to my rotation. And I'm thinking on this here, let's see if we go to, this may be by default in global mode. Let's go to local mode. Let's try normal mode. Normal works a little bit better. Still not perfect, but there. I'm just rotating it so it sits along the it's parallel to the length of the center of the tail. Okay, here, go and grab this one here. L key, select it. Bring it right about there, right on the tail. I think we'll just bring it up like so. I think that works. Rotate. Just a slight rotation. All right, good. Let's go to the opposite side. Oops. Accidentally clicked on something. All right, go over here. L key, select that. Let's select linked. This one looks like it's out of balance. It's out of rotation is off. Very odd. Modifier shouldn't be on there. So let me go select this. Yeah, that should not be happening. We turned off the modifier for that, or we applied it. Huh. This one's behaving in quite an odd behavior. So, all right, somehow the modifier wasn't applied correctly here. So let me take a look at the other one. If I hit L key on this one, I'll use that one. I'm going to get rid of this one over here. L, and L on both sides. X key, delete the faces. All right. So all I'm going to do here is I'm going to grab all of these here. So L key. I'm going to set my 3D cursor probably as best as I can in the center of the tail. So hit the 7 key on the keyboard. Let's go ahead and push this on over. Okay, shift right click, puts the 3D cursor right there. And then what we're going to do is we're going to mirror this. So we're going to mirror it based on the location of the 3D cursor. So we're going to come right up here at the top, pull this on over. Up here where it says normal, I'm going to go and select global. But we're going to come over here to orientation options. We're going to orient it, the next technique based on the location of the 3D cursor. All right, where's my 3D cursor? It disappeared. Why is that? All right, so Shift S, cursor to select it. Very odd. All right, let me go back in the edit mode and see what's going on here. I'm gonna go to the top view, Shift right click. Oh, I see what I did. That's what I did. I turned off the overlay options accidentally. I accidentally scrolled over it and probably turned it off. Now I'm going to mirror this to the opposite side. So I'm in edit mode. So Control M for mirror. Well, before we do that, let me go ahead and escape key again. We need to duplicate it first. So Shift D, right click to reset it back. Control M for mirror, and then X for the axis that it's on. It's not working. Very interesting. All right, let's do it again. All right, Control M for mirror, and then X. There it is. That worked. Okay, so I'm gonna assume it's probably the graphics card resource thing. So I'm gonna hit Enter. That's a fast way of duplicating or mirroring, and I've got that mirrored exactly where I want it. But this needs to be what? It needs to be up further because it's not symmetrical. They're offset like this. Okay, that works. Okay, this one looks good. I'm gonna go to this one up here. So L key. And I'm also noticing on this one isn't quite right either. I'm at the L key again to select everything. Tell it to utilize the median point. Pull this one up a little bit and go to my rotation options. And just do that. Yeah, that works. All right, making progress. Okay, I think the rest of it probably looks good. The rest of it is fine. Okay, Command the Control S. All right, so David, you're here really late. If you want to jump on here, I'll give you the link to share to jump on. So inviting the guest, copy, and I will give you the link here. There you are. All right, so David Glenn is here, everybody. All right, looks like he's jumping on board now. I will add you to stage. There you are. You are now on stage.
Hi. I just got off the ferry from
It's just yet.
Seattle.
There you go. Now I hear you. Good
Yeah,
morning.
I just got off the ferry, from Seattle. So
Oh wow. What did you do?
I was at Emerald City Comic Con.
Oh, that's right. I completely forgot about that. So, how did this show go?
It was busy. It was very busy, even on Tuesday and Friday, which in conventions is usually not that busy. And it it was very nice. I got to meet the group that does all the 3D printing and stuff out here at Kitsap. They were down there. That's one of the reasons why I went down there. The other one was to see artists like Todd Lockwood.
Okay.
He was down there, so it's my only opportunity for me to interface with him once in a while. I used to see him a lot over in Dragon Con, but I don't get to Dragon Con anymore. So this is about the only place I get to see half the people that do any art and all. And I got to see the showrunner for of All Crazy Things. What's the name of that series? I actually like it. I think it's called Demon. I think it's called Demon Dinosaur and no. Darn it.
Really?
It's an interesting series. It's about this black young superhero girl.
Right.
And her companion is a dinosaur, a red dinosaur.
Oh, that sounds like Devil Dinosaur.
Yeah.
From the Marvel Comics.
Yeah, it could have been from that. Yeah.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite comics.
Yeah.
It was like a red colored T-Rex type dinosaur.
Yeah.
Yeah, Devil Dinosaur.
Mm-hmm.
That was a fun one.
This lady I met, she currently does the comics for that, and they're talking about bringing that series back.
Wow.
On Disney TVA, or possibly for the Disney Channel.
Okay.
And so that was interesting. And I got to meet Lockwood, and I got to meet the people from the.
And I bet you it's tiring too, isn't it?
Well, one of the reasons why I got a hotel down there is that I, for as long as I could, was for me not to be dead tired by the time I showed up last year. I went straight there and then straight back, and by the time it took me about 2 days to recover from that. Plus, all the time that I was walking around the place, I was kind of like I was kind of like a zombie.
Yeah.
So
Oh yeah. It's tiring.
because I'm taking the ferry, it's one bus which takes 45 minutes. It's a ferry ride which takes about an hour. There's yeah, basically, what I do is I cheat and take the bus up the hill because Seattle's on a hill,
Yeah.
and I take it up the hill and get off at the nearest spot, and I go, straight to the hotel. And I was fortunate enough that I was able to, they were able to book me a room or get me a room, and I went straight over and got my tag, and then went poking around. And Friday was mostly poking around the writer's block. And
So how much are the rooms there now?
300 a night.
Wow. Well, San Diego Comic Con is much more than that.
Yeah. Oh, I bet. Well, I tell you, this convention is very busy for the venue. I've been there in years past, and Thursday or Friday was never a very popular day.
Okay. Really?
This year it was packed. It was Comic-Con equivalent packed. It was.
That's great.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Well,
great for the artists
there's
too.
a lot of people. Unfortunately, we got a lot of computer professionals that are unemployed, and they want to get into the convention when it's cheap.
So what is the cost of the convention to get in?
24 for 27 for the first night, 50 no 72 for Friday night, and 83 for Saturday if they were available. They weren't available today.
I remember when Comic Con used to have those prices.
Mm-hmm.
It's over 350, 375 now for the full conference pass.
Mm. But it was really it was interesting for what it is. It's the only comic book convention that they really have in the area.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Really?
that
I'm
that is.
surprised they're not smaller ones that just popped up.
Hmm. But if you ever get a chance to see it, it's it's something to see. Yeah, I think it's worth it.
I would love to. One day I most definitely will get a chance to go up there.
Mm-hmm.
So we're just kind of just working on the Stegosaurus a little bit, trying to give a little detail. We did some custom brushes earlier. I showed everybody
Yeah.
how to
Hey,
make.
excuse me. I'm cramming a bar in here. I'm gonna put myself on mute.
Oh, okay, sure. So there we go. So I'm just adding a little more detail to the body, to the skin, coming back around underneath the belly. Those little extra folds going around the arms. I got to add more in here. All right, it's kind of just bring it on up. I'm gonna add more in there. Let's kind of take a look at it. We're gonna add more texture details. So I'm gonna start experimenting with the brushes that I just created. So I wanted the flaps to be, or at least the plates to be where they are. So I need to determine exactly, how I'm going to mold the flesh of the dinosaur into the skin. One way I'm thinking of is just continue to use the clay buildup brush, and I'm going to start to build up like this. Yeah. Bring it up around it. Now we go to the other side. You can see the plate is well embedded in there. All right, let's pull this on up. I'm gonna make this a little larger. Make it a little larger. Let's see. There we go. Pull these on up. Let that move around it. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. I'm going to have to modify the plates here a little bit. But I'll deal with that later. Let's go to the second one on the inside. Start kind of building up flesh around it a little bit. And that little extra flesh as a result of our clay buildup brush helps, actually. Let's kind of pull it around, go to the next one. Idea is not to get it perfect the first time. Idea is just to get a nice visual workflow. Yeah, it's going to work all right. You can pull that on up a little more. I'm going to take this up to 1.0 for the strength. See, now what we're doing is organic modeling. Okay, so this is where I'm going to have to start merging things together. Let me go over here and go to object view. I made a little bit of mistake here, but I can probably easily rectify it. Yeah, I can. Because we're getting to the part now where nothing here is symmetrical. So I'm going to select the dinosaur. I got the multi-res and the mirror on. Now what I want to see is I'm going to put the mirror on top and see what happens. Cannot move the modifier. Okay. All right. No problem. I'm going to, let's see if I can just apply the mirror All right, so it got rid of the multi-res. All right, so it's not going to work. Everything's going to have to be applied at this point. So I'm going to undo, apply all there. Okay, so now everything is one piece. So if I go into edit mode, that's interesting. Hold on a minute. I told it to apply all. Okay, it didn't do it for some reason. Let me go back. Apply all here. So selecting this here. Hit apply all to see what happens. Okay, now let's go in and go to edit mode. Come on. It's thinking. It is thinking. There it is. There it is.
You got too much.
Yeah, I just saved it. And we want too much actually at this point. Because this is what we're going to use to finish sculpting. So I don't think I have enough in there that I don't have to put in the multi-resolution again. So let's go to town on this one. Okay, so tab key, scope mode. Now I can go to these other ones over here. Bring my brush down. Yeah, see? I don't have to rely on multi-resolution anymore.
Yeah. You also might want to take out that cavity that echoed from the other side.
Yeah, that's the least of our worries. I can do that easily with the here. I can use this here. But you're right. I'm going to come in here and just play with this a little bit. Okay, let's go back in here. Control S just to make it a habit of saving. See, once you freeze this stuff, it frees up a lot of memory because it's not using modifiers to remember everything.
Yeah.
So even though there's a lot of geometry there, I'm going to make the brush bigger. It's not using a modifier, even though it's a lot of geometry there. So it'll work faster.
Yeah, when I was over at ECC, I ran into a mechanical engineer.
Yeah.
He says in his work he uses Blender for the organic stuff, for his organic related stuff. So he's kind of taken what you have done and applies it to what he does. For he's a contractor for the Navy. And everything else for the mechanics, for the real mechanical stuff, he sticks to Autodesk.
Okay, so he's a CAD based. Being an engineer, it would be CAD based, right?
Yeah, that's what he does. He does a lot of 3D printing with using Cubic. Not Cubic, but Creality.
Yeah, I just picked up a training job with a company in Tampa, Florida, blender training,
Yeah.
and they are their whole system is blend. It's gone to Blender now. I think
Mm-hmm.
it used to be another program, like more of a CAD based program,
Mm-hmm.
but I was recommended to them by someone, and we were able to set up some training sessions for their employees. Kind of get that look like it's integrated with the flesh.
Mm-hmm. Well, that makes sense because people are looking to cut costs, and Maya's not cheap.
Well, yeah, but the thing is that what's nice is that they're looking to cut costs, but they're not willing to they're not willing to sacrifice quality.
Well, you can't.
Yeah, you cannot not in this industry. You cannot sacrifice quality, and Blender has provided that. It provided this option for high quality results, as good as Maya, and and it doesn't cost you anything.
Yeah. Anyway.
So let's kind of pull this across. I'm going to the spikes you guys are gonna love. Okay, I want to kind of come over to here, and I'm gonna go up to that one that had the extra stuff on the sides here as a result of the mirror. I'm just gonna go over and do the clay strips. I think hold the control key down. Kind of pull that on out. Yeah, like that. Let's bring this around over to here. Look at the other side. Okay, I'm gonna rotate this around. So I took my Epson 7800 into the shop because the heads are clogged, and now it's
Mm-hmm.
going to look like I may need to replace the head.
Mm.
He's giving me a quote of $600 for the head.
This is on a 3D printer.
No, this is a inkjet printer.
$600. Consider buying a new one.
A new one's going to cost quite a bit for that style of printer. A new one's going to cost me $3,000.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm just gonna have to bite the bullet and probably just pay him.
Well, sounds like a special printer. Is it
Yeah,
large paper? Large paper?
yeah, 24 inches wide.
Crap. Bigger than I'd ever use.
Yeah, it's a big printer.
Uh-huh. Do much drafting?
Well, I do a lot of large prints of my artwork,
Oh, oh, okay. Yeah.
which when this is done, the Stegosaurus put him in an environment, he's going to look awesome.
Yeah, you don't want to hear what I use.
Uh-oh. All right. All right. Well, okay, I'm going to save this. We'll finish this up next week. We'll put texturing on it. Then we're going to have to create a normal map from it, which will apply the normal map to the standard architecture. Yeah, that'll work good.
Yeah. Sure, you don't want to do displacement?
Well, no, because I want to animate it, and
Oh,
you've got to have no, a much lower level of lower amount of geometry for this.
oh, okay.
So I'm going to create a normal map, and then I'm going to place the normal map back onto. I'll show you back onto the original body. So I'll turn this one off if I can. Turn that off. Turn that one on. That's the original body.
Ah, okay.
So I'm gonna put that back on the original body, and the original body should show appear to be as much as texturous as what I'm doing now
Mm-hmm.
with that normal map.
There it goes.
Yeah.
Seems to have a bit of delay.
Oh yeah, it's a lot of geometry in there.
Mm-hmm.
So that's it for today. Um,
That's going to be a good lesson for next week or whenever you are
yeah,
able to show up. Is how to transfer, that that sculpt into a normal map.
right. Which is critical. You see when you do your work inside of ZBrush, the
Yeah,
workflow is take that high ZBrush image, make it a normal map, and then bring it into your other like Maya or
yeah.
Blender, apply the normal map, and it'll look just as good as the one you sculpted inside of ZBrush.
Hmm. I got my ZBrush license. I think the whopping cost for it was like I got it on sale, and it was like $300,
Wow.
and that was a pretty good, darn good sale.
Right.
That was SIGGRAPH. Yeah, it
Wow.
was up to the SIGGRAPHs, and you won't see that coming out of you won't see that coming out of from the new owners. They're expensive as hell.
Okay. All right. So, well, it's good to see you here, and I'm glad you had a great time at the show. They're always a lot of fun. We got
Hmm.
WonderCon coming up here in Anaheim at the end of the month, so I'll be I will be speaking there on Blender and Unreal Engine. So
Yay!
anybody's at WonderCon, come and see me. It's going to be on Friday, 5:30 to 6:30 in room 210.
Hmm. Yeah, I notice just be well, I mentioned it. I mentioned my studies in AI. I kind of said, well, okay, yeah, understand. I'm an engineer, so I have to research this. I have to explore it, and for that, I got a pass. And even though I wasn't presenting any art or anything like that over there, uh,
Lucky.
and I was, one of the things that I suggested for next year at ECC, and it's going to be interesting to see the reaction I get, is basically there's no discussion group about AI in the impact that it might have, for artists and just in general.
All right, so here's one of the brushes I created.
Well, that's right.
I'm gonna make this a little bigger.
Are you going to use Spike?
Spike. Oh,
Yeah,
this.
your Spike.
Oh yeah. No, I haven't forgot about that. I haven't forgot about that's going to be a nice.
Remember, you taught me Spike in one of the classes.
Yeah, it's gonna that's gonna add a nice little go right down the back and
Uh-huh.
that texture there. What is this? 100. This is strength. Let me try. Let's change the brush style just real quick. Go to the tool. I'm in draw mode. In draw mode, I don't want. Oh, draw sharp. I want go down here. Here, a spacing drag dot. Okay, here we go.
Oof.
It's a little bit too much.
Yeah.
Undo. Okay, let's go up here and take the strength down to 0.3.
Didn't take.
Oh, it didn't. Oh, sorry.
Your strength didn't take. You're still at one.
All right, so 0.3. Oh, that's weird. Okay, let's go to
Oh,
0.3. There,
you're at 3.
point.
Okay. 0.3. Yeah.
There we go. Let's see what it looks like now. Okay, that's nice.
Yeah.
That's nice. So this is the move dot thing. You gotta click and drag. Move this around. It's thinking. It's thinking. There we go. And Control S.
Save it.
I did.
Yeah, I haven't figured out about the what's going on with the XR thing, EXR. I get that error also. So we may not be the only ones.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm pretty sure. Uh-oh.
I'll work on this more on my own and I'll have a more completed piece back to you guys next week and show you what I did.
Uh-huh. Hopefully we're not going into crash mode. Oh, good. Whew, had me worried there for a second.
Control S. Cool.
So this is like this is similar to the way my laptop was behaving. It took, I installed 5 on it for the first time, and
Right.
Yes.
I was just listening to you. So
Oh yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
so then we're all done and thank you everybody for being here. We'll see everybody next Saturday. I'll send
Hopefully I
out an
can spend
email.
complete time there.
Yeah, email notification. You should be here if you're not at another convention.
I was just just I was just boarding the ferry when your things started,
Okay.
and there's no internet over there, so I tried. I figured, well, worst comes to worst, I'll talk to him over my phone.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
You get there.
turn the phone around and show you all the wonderful sights of the of the putrid sound.
All right. All right. We'll see everybody here next week. I'm going to go ahead and end the stream.